Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I hope you're doing well. Really do hope that Chelsea versus Liverpool in the Cup final at Wembley this weekend. Oh, it's a tasty / frightening thing. Of course, both teams have a lot of injuries. Maybe Liverpool are slightly worse off injury-wise, but then again, they can have some key players back for this final. Sod's law, mate. Pochettino has just had his pre-match press conference, and he said those words, "Finals are for winning, not for playing." Ooh, maybe the Tottenham manager is slowly dissolving away, and he's becoming a Chelsea manager. Hopefully. We're going to talk about the game a little bit today. Going into this final, Chelsea are, of course, outsiders. Chelsea are the underdogs, and despite Jurgen Klopp saying that's not the case, of course, it very much is the case. Liverpool are in good, scintillating, free-scoring form. They're in all 4 competitions. They're very much in a Premier League title race. They are a settled, good team. Quite the opposite of what Chelsea are currently in our transitional, developmental season. We're going to get into it today. I'm going to tell you about the teams I've built, as in who I think will play against us with Liverpool, who I think we will play, and what we will need to do to win this game, and what it will mean. You know? So thank you for joining me. In the meantime, of course, we are on the long road to 200,000 subscribers. We've hit 180k a few days ago. Incredible scenes for the GOAT Gang, the Football Therapy community. So thanks, guys, for subscribing. If you're yet to do so, you are welcome to. And hit the bell if you do choose to subscribe. In the meantime, I'll thank you for liking the video. So let's get into it. Yeah, this is rough, man. Cup finals, Wembley, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. It gives you a cold sweat. Of course, we had the 2 finals a couple of years ago under Thomas Tuchel when we lost both to Liverpool. It's sickening. In a way, I'm more frightened of Liverpool than Man City. Of course, we've just taken a point away at Man City and we lost 4-1 away at Anfield. So you could say, well, that's why you're more frightened of Liverpool than Man City, Jan. But I maintain Man City are a better team than Liverpool. They just are. I just don't like how we've lost recent finals to them, multiple finals to them, domestic cup finals. It feels like the other day, and we're going in to play them again. I think that might be a bit of like juju, psychological frailty there from Chelsea. Granted, we have a almost entirely new team, but it still gives me that sick feeling. Now, Liverpool are in a title race. They've got a very strong team. Whoever succeeds Klopp at Liverpool should be very happy because he's going to be leaving them with a really functional, sort of good starting 11 and, to be honest, rotational attack midfielders. To be honest, they've got Conor Bradley now as a backup right back. I mean, we've got Gusto to Reece James, but they're going to be left in pretty good nick. I do think as well there's just more chaos with Liverpool. Like, you can defend against the system, the behemoth, the formulaic way of playing in terms of the Guardiola Man City, but Liverpool's such a wild card. They're radically transitional and they just come at you with like windmill punches, and it's really hard to sort of settle. And Chelsea do need, even if we need to settle and be the defensive team again, that's fine, but we need the opportunity to settle, and Liverpool don't let you settle. They went 1-0 down in their last game to Luton, and I thought, ooh, maybe. They ended up winning 4-1. Key players out, Cody Gakpo getting on the score sheet, and out of the 5 sensational attackers, he's probably been the more understated one. Still a great player. That's the thing about Liverpool. They didn't buy 20-year-old children like we do in terms of long-term planning. They buy youngish players, but they buy players that can play well now, and they have like a big rotating roster of excellent attacking players. You know, they've got Jota, Nunez, Salah, Gakpo, did I say Diaz? Yeah, 5. Of course, we know Diogo Jota is going to be out for this game. And though currently listed as unavailable, Mohamed Salah and Darwin Nunez, Liverpool maintain they could be available for the final. And you know what Chelsea's like, mate? Sod's law. Players that aren't supposed to be available suddenly pop up and are available for Chelsea. I always offer the example of Wilf Zaha at Palace. He was always injured until he plays Chelsea, and he always comes back for that game. It's a cup final ultimately, and if they feel like they're good to come back and they could play, you can just see Mohamed Salah being ready to play, I think. So let's talk about Liverpool a little bit. I'm going to show you a lineup that I've built that I think they might play in this game. And yes, it's despite them having a lot of injuries, it's still very, very strong indeed. So it will be a Jurgen Klopp 4-3-3, how he always plays. It will be Kelleher in goal. Alisson's injured. Doesn't matter. Kelleher's already beaten us in a cup final at Wembley in goal, so he will start in goal. Virgil van Dijk will also start. I think Konate, though he wasn't in the squad, I believe, against Luton, or didn't play, I think he is fit and available. So their first choice centre-back partnership will play in this game. I think Robertson's back from injury to play left back. It could be Gomez, but I have a feeling, again, it's a cup final, players come back for this. Robertson on the left, and of course, Connor Bradley coming in for the injured Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Usually in this scenario you'd be thinking, great, a young academy kid coming in, but of course he won man of the match against us in a 4-1 win just recently and scored a great goal. So, yeah, that sucks. Now, in the midfield, I think it's going to be Endo, Gravenberch, and Elliott. We know Curtis Jones is out injured currently, as is Dominic Szoboszlai, although Szoboszlai is kind of like Nunez and Salah. He's being monitored on a day-to-day period, and he could be available for this game. And of course, he's got an absolute lethal finish in terms of long-range goals. And Chelsea are vulnerable to that, even if we're playing well and defending deep. Of course, we saw it with Rodri the other day with the equaliser. We've conceded, quite a lot of high-profile long-range goals in the last couple of years. He's very much got that in his locker. Although he might not play, and this might not be the first choice Liverpool midfield, they all know exactly what to do with their jobs. I hear a lot of people saying Endo is one of the most underrated signings of the season. Of course, they wanted Moises Caicedo, Liverpool. They didn't get him. They ended up signing Endo for a lot cheaper, who's, I believe, is a lot older. But throughout the weeks into this season, he settled into the side really well, actually. And he's actually a really good player and suits the system, and will make them better in the midfield. I'm sorry, guys. I've just got a feeling Salah's going to be fit. I just feel he's going to be fit for this game. I see him starting on the right wing. If he's being monitored, I just see it, bro. I just friggin' see it. Diaz, who's been playing really, really well, is their natural, I say first choice left winger, but sometimes Diogo Jota plays out there. He obviously played very well against Luton. He's a lethal left winger that can, dribble, score goals, float across the front three. He will start on the left wing. For a while, when he first came in to Liverpool, he looked like one of the signings of the season. Did they sign him in January? Anyway, he looked like an excellent signing when he came in last campaign, I believe. A lot of people had him in their Fantasy Premier League, which tells you everything you need to know. I believe those two guys will be out wide, and I do think Cody Gakpo will be playing down the middle. Of course, he plays often as a false nine. He's very tall, he can win headers, but he can score goals. So that will be a formidable front three from Liverpool. That's just what I'm guessing. Of course, there could be players in, players out. You might see a slightly different midfield. Nunez might start, Salah might not. But generally, I think we could expect to see something like that. Now, let's move on and talk about the Chelsea starting 11. So I'm going for the same, essentially, that we played away at Man City. It will be a 4-2-3-1/4-3-3 asymmetrical hybrid like we've often seen from Pochettino this season. Petrovic in goal, Ben Chilwell at left back, Malo Gusto at right back, and I don't think Thiago Silva is going to randomly come in to a cup final, although he's got the sort of demeanour and, presence to play a cup final. I think, we've seen probably his days are up in a back four, and coming up against that Liverpool side, really, really fast transitionally, it's not going to be Thiago Silva. For me, it will be Levi Colwill, and it will be Axel Disasi, who of course won man of the match away at the Etihad last time out, so a decent back four. We can expect to see the three musketeers in midfield, one would assume. Moises Caicedo playing in a sort of slash lone pivot, double pivot with Enzo Fernandez. Enzo sometimes breaking forward, of course, in that left channel, but will be Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez. They play really well together. They've played a lot better together recently. I think that's largely because they play closer together, and you can see them passing to each other back and forth and sort of floating around as a double pivot. Makes a lot more sense, and of course you've got Conor Gallagher completing that midfield three, offering a lot of energy, which we're going to need in a cup final against Liverpool. Playing in a sort of quasi number 10, but he also plays as kind of a right number 8 as well. You see his heat maps is often more on the right hand side. That's kind of what makes it a sort of like asymmetrical 4-2-3-1, which kind of looks like a 4-3-3. But anyway, let's not get bogged down in the nerdy weeds of that. So the front three is an interesting one. Of course, the guy who picks himself is Cole Palmer over on the right wing. I think Nico Jackson will play in this game regardless, but the question would be, do you play Nico Jackson as a left winger? And I don't know, maybe playing Nkunku down the middle, so we've got a very fast outlet on transition. That would have been my lineup had Nkunku looked a bit better at the Etihad, or had Nkunku been up to speed. In terms of talent and profile, that's what I would have gone for. But because that's not the case at the moment, I will go for the same lineup. I'll go for Jackson up top and Raheem Sterling on the left wing. Now, yes, Sterling hasn't been in amazing form lately, but he was good at the Etihad, and obviously scored twice against Man City now. And if he's going to just keep scoring against his former clubs, then we'll hope he can do the same thing against Liverpool, of course, another one of his former clubs that are really good and settled. If he can summon that same energy and score a goal, then it will be worth starting him. Now, I do think Sterling will be the first substitute in the front three, should he start, but I can see him getting the 60 minutes here, and then maybe an Nkunku coming on to play down the middle, and then Jackson going out left, or, it could be a fluent front three. So in terms of substitutions, maybe Nkunku, maybe Noni Madueke, but I'm not sure Pochettino completely trusts him yet. He does look to him as a valuable attacking asset, but in these it's a final. You need to completely retain tactical information. I think you'd see Noni before you'd see Mudryk as things stand, but I wonder if you'll see him. And I don't know, will he turn to Trevor Chalobah again? Maybe Alfie Gilchrist? Very interesting indeed. I think it's going to be about the starters rather than the substitutes. But we should have a more experienced bench than Liverpool, and maybe that can help us in the game. So let's talk about how the game could pan out. Oh, it's tough. Obviously, nothing could split us with Liverpool, and until that battering at Anfield 4-1, we drew them 6 games in a row, I believe, across all competitions, if you're excluding penalty shootouts. So not much to split us. It was the Anfield atmosphere of like Klopp's farewell tour and the players, maybe getting overwhelmed by that. Of course, Wembley will be a 50-50 in terms of fans, but they've had the better of us in recent encounters there, of course. A couple of finals they've beaten us recently, so fans might have that air of superiority, almost like they were feeling like they're at Anfield. But the Chelsea away fans have been amazing lately, and hopefully they will dominate a lot of the occupied Chelsea seats at Wembley, and the support's good. Chelsea can beat Liverpool. We are the outsiders, we are the underdogs in this game, make no bones about it. It's just how it is, man. But we can beat them. Like I said, they've played a few days ago, we had a whole week's rest. We've had injury crisis all season, Chelsea, but maybe Liverpool have it worse than us at the moment. Of course, we could still point to Chukwuemeka, Lavia, Reece James. Do you know what I mean? We still have key players out. Wesley Fofana, who I love. It's still bad for us. And if we look at the team sheet that day and there is no Nunes, there is no Salah in the squad, period, then we can be feeling a lot better about it. Maybe they aren't available and they're just saying they might be, so they mess with the Chelsea coaching plan, the tactics of, we got to be prepared for them should they be available. Look, man, if we see the team sheet and there's a couple of massive, if Szoboszlai, Nunes and Salah aren't there, that's going to be a whole different feeling than if all 3 of them are there for us Chelsea fans. But ultimately, we're going to have to just look to just absolutely bring the game to them there. I wonder how we're going to play. If we're going to play, defensive and transitionally like we did against Man City. I wonder if we won't, because you can play against Liverpool. Liverpool will offer you more joy generally, not just in transition to counter-attack on them, but just generally. There'll be more space between the lines than Man City. Man City are going to try and choke you to death, so you've got to sort of take as many punches as you can and then go and transition. But with Liverpool, like I say, it's systemically brilliant. Klopp's a genius, whatever, but there's still more space. There'll be more space to attack. And I wonder if you'll see a more generally attacking game from Chelsea, like Chelsea trying to get a little bit more of the ball and targeting potential weaknesses of Liverpool. Now, I don't know where that weakness will be. Maybe Andy Robertson, got to dust some cobwebs off him. Maybe you can get in behind him. To be honest, I've not been that impressed with Van Dijk lately. I feel like he's been wobbly in the box and conceding. We should have had a couple of penalties against Liverpool. Maybe he'll do a bit of that again, and maybe VAR will be a little bit more on it. But it's so tough, man. I am going to try and be realistic, but then positive. So I think we're going to draw with Liverpool in 90 minutes for the 3rd final in a row. I'm sorry. But maybe we look at 2-2, an exciting game. But I don't think it will go to penalties. I think Chelsea will have a stronger bench on the day, and I'm going to say Chelsea to win it in extra time. You gotta predict a Chelsea win and Pochettino to lift his first trophy in England and Chelsea's first domestic trophy since 2018. Wow, that's a long time. 6 years, bro. I know we've had some European ones in the meantime, but that's a long time. So I'm going to say maybe 2-2, 90 minutes, and then Chelsea score an extra goal to make it 3-2 after extra time, winning the cup. What does it mean though? Will it be... Liam Twomey of The Athletic said, maybe quite rightly, that Pochettino won't be judged on this by his employers by the end of the season. They'll look at where the team's going generally. Are people happy? Is the team developing? Is their style of play coming together? You know, is everything okay? That sort of thing. They might not judge it on 90 minutes or 120 minutes at Wembley from a trophy that, yes, qualifies you from Europe, but the trophy itself won't bring much financial gain. They'll look at it like, you know, the wider picture. Well, though, let me know what you think. It's very, very exciting. I can't wait to watch the final. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, I'll thank you for liking and subscribing and hope to see you back here very soon on Football Therapy. Peace.